up this morning and I pray to the Most High. The sun is shining so bright. I'm blessed to live this life. Blessed be Yahawah. Blessed be Yahawah.
Shalom, sisters. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory praise to Yahawah. Shabbat Shalawam 1, 2. I got a little cold. Don't mind my voice. And if I sneeze a little, don't mind it, okay? But we're just going to get right into it. So this video is going to be going into, which one do I want to do first? Facing persecutions. So we're just going to get right into it. We're going to get the foundational scripture, which is Hebrews 10 and 24. And actually, we're going to go to 1 Peter 4 and 11 first. So 1 Peter 4 and 11. And it reads, if any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Yahawah. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Yahawah giveth, that Yahawah in all things may be glorified through Yahawashi, to whom be praised and dominion forever and ever. Amen. So everything we speak, it should be thus of the Lord. It should be of Yahawah, not our emotions, but the scriptures and the oracles of the Most High. And then Hebrews 10 and 24. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. So the reason I'm doing this video is to provoke my sister into good works. That's why we should be doing things for the nation, to provoke one another to good works. So without further ado, we're just going to get right into it. Facing persecutions, don't think it's strange when people are hating you because you keep the commandments of Yahawah. We got to go through the same things Christ went through, and Yahawah was hated of all men. And these are things that need to be talked about even as women. You know, the brothers out here are real minded through the spirit. They do deep, deep breakdowns. You know, they edify the people. They touching on everything they could possibly touch on. But even as women, something important that we need to talk about is being hated of all men for Yahawah's sake. So when you come into this truth and when you keep the law, statutes, commandments, and when you set apart from the world, don't think it's strange when people start hating you, start calling you names, people start mistreating you. Don't think those things strange. So one, we must understand that we cannot get the kingdom without much tribulation. And that's Acts 14 and 22. Excuse the background noise. Look at Sean. So this is the book of Acts, chapter 14, and verse number 22, and it reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Yahawah. So we cannot get the kingdom of heaven without much tribulation. So this walk, we are going to go through things. Satan is going to do everything he can to break you down. You're going to face temptations. You're going to go through hell and back. That is just it. That's the condition of the battle. 2 Ezra 7:57. If you want this kingdom, you got to go through that fire. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no other way around it. It is what it is. So, but we got to keep enduring those so we get that kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Some greater come. Let's get that. Get a few. 2 Timothy 4 and 7. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Henceforth, there's laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but to all them that also that love is appearing. So, you know, we got to keep enduring so that we can get that crown of righteousness. So we got to endure the hating. We got to endure the persecutions. We got to endure the sufferings, you know, endure Jacob's trouble. We have to endure all these things that shall come to pass. We got to endure all these things that's going to happen unto the chosen. All those things is going to happen to those that believe in Yahawah. We have to endure all those things so we get the kingdom of heaven. And I want to get Matthew 24:13. He that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 13, and it reads, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So none of us are saved right now. Nobody got that golden ticket to heaven. Nobody got, we just, if we already knew we was going to get the kingdom, then we wouldn't be going as far. We don't know if we're going to get the kingdom. That's why we putting in that's why we should be, you know, giving this truth our all, giving Yahawah our all. That's why we should be, you know, really putting this work in, because we don't know, none of our spots are secured yet. And we don't know if we're going to make it. So we got to continue to endure, having hope that Lord willing, we do make it, Lord willing, we do get the kingdom by keeping the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, Bahasham, and by enduring unto the very end. So enduring all the hatred that shall come from man. And so, 2, I want to transfer to, if we say we servants of the Most High, we must go through what the Most High, what Yahawah went through, so don't think it's strange, okay? So let's get 1 Peter chapter 4 again. But now we're going to go down to verse 12. Beloved, thinking not strange concerning the fear which try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. So don't think it's strange when you're going through that fire, when people are hating you, when people are talking about you, when people are cussing you out, when people are saying, why you always in that Bible? Why you always talking about God? Why you always talking about Christ? Why you always got that hair wrap on? Why you always got that dress on? Why you always talking about fringes? Why you always eating this? Why you always doing that? Don't think it's strange. You might get kicked out. Don't think it's strange. You might be down in your lives. You might be poor. Don't think none of those things strange because you're doing it and you're going through it for Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. And you don't know it, but rejoice in as much as you are partakers of Yahawah's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. If ye be reproached for the name of Yahawashi, happy are ye, for the spirit of glory and of Yahawah resteth upon you. On their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. So count those things joy when you go through it, because it says, when his glory shall be revealed, you may be also glorified with exceeding joy. So, when that day come, Lord willing, when we endure to the end, we're going to be with exceeding joy, because we have been, at that point, Lord willing, we'll be delivered. At that point, we'll be out of captivity. At that point, hey, we're going to be rejoicing because we made it. So keep enduring. Keep enduring, keep enduring, keep enduring. Don't faint, don't faint, don't faint, because we're going to be joyful in that day, Lord willing. Count those things joys because we're partakers of Yahawah's suffering. The Most High sees us fit to go through these things. So be thankful for that, like we're in this truth. Okay, and moving on, we're going to go to Matthew 5 and 10. And it reads, then said, it's like, yeah, wrong. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So count those things joy when we're persecuted for the name of Yahawah, because our reward is in heaven. So if we endure all these things and we keep enduring through all the hatred, that kingdom is ours. So when you get put to death for Yahawah, or you're getting hated for Yahawah, just know that the kingdom is one step closer, and the kingdom is yours if you keep on enduring. For great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So there's nothing new under the sun. They persecuted our righteous forebears and forefathers. Let's see what the definition of revile means. It says, revile is criticized in an abusive or angrily insulting matter. Savage, deflame, malign, run down, abuse, crucify, hammer, badmouth, monster. So when they basically calling us all types of names, put hands on us, when they do all these things and persecute us for Yahawah's sake, hey, count those things joy. Be exceeding glad and rejoice. Call Yahawah like Yahawashi that you see me fit. Call Yahawah that, hey, I'm getting hated by all men. So when you have family members that might buck up against you, they might come in your face, might cuss you out. Crazy things might happen. Crazy things gonna happen in this truth. People saying all manner of evil, doing all manner of evil to us because we believe in the Most High. You just gotta endure those things and rejoice. You gotta kind of have that mindset of, hey, the Most High see me fit. This is 2 Timothy 3 and 12. Yeah, and all that will live godly in Yahawashi shall suffer persecution. It didn't say some. It didn't say maybe. It said if you live godly, you will suffer persecution. And that's just, it is what it is. So if you're keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, because we understand that when we was in the world being Christians, that wasn't truly living godly, because Christians don't keep the commandments. They think the law's done away with. And that's just because, we've been brainwashed, and the Christian pastors, they don't teach the law. So they just don't know any better. Like we didn't know any better. And don't mind my nails, y'all. Don't worry about my nails, worry about something else. But kind of as I was saying, that's what I'm saying. As I was saying, we wasn't living godly in the world. And so Christians are not living godly. Living godly is keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, because if you love me, keep my commandments. John 14:15. So if you're keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, you will suffer persecution. It is what it is. But on the flip side, though, where the other precept at? You know what? I'm going to just hold off on that. Yeah, I'm going to just hold off on that. Okay. We can hold off on the flip side. We can hold off on that. Okay. 1 Thessalonians. I need some tissue. 1 Thessalonians 3 and 3 through 4. that no man should be moved by these afflictions. For yourselves know that we are appointed thereunto. For verily, when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulations, even as it came to pass, and ye know. So these things been talked about. Suffering tribulations for Yahawashi. These things been talked about. Don't let it move you. Don't let it get you down and sad. And oh my gosh, stand firm, hold fast, keep enduring, and praise the name of the Lord. And let's go to Matthew 20 and 22. I need some tissue, y'all. I really do not feel like moving because the spirit is moving. So I'm going to just send a quick text to my father to bring me some tissue. Okay. Matthews 20 and 22. And it reads, But Yahawashi answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. Actually, okay, we're going to start at verse 20. Matthews 20 and 20. Matthews 20 and 20. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She said unto him, Grant thy these two my sons may sit, the one on their right hand and the other on the left, in the kingdom. But Yahawashi answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They said unto him, We are able. And he said unto them, Ye shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father. So she basically was like, Can you give my sons, a seat in your kingdom? And he's like, I don't just hand out seats. You got to work for that. You got to go through what I went through. And even I can't even give out seats if I wanted to. That's up to Yahawah. So, it says, for whom it is prepared of my Father. So, look, we got to endure. We got to go through these things Yahawashi went through. We just can't get the kingdom without no tribulation. We can't get the kingdom without no work. We got to put in work. We got to go through the exact same things Yahawashi went through. We got to go through that fire for real if we want the kingdom. So, we shall indeed drink of my cup. Let's see what, hold on. Let me see the definition that they give us about baptism in the B.O.B. Baptism, Strong's G908. Calamities and afflictions. Hey, don't get no better than that. Calamities and afflictions with which one is quite overwhelmed. So we want to drink. If we want to get the kingdom, we got to go through those calamities and those afflictions. Yes, period. I wouldn't expect them to have a definition for real. All praise the Most High. Moving on, we're going to go to John 15 and 18. And it reads, If the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. So, let me just keep reading. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hateth me, hated my Father also. Yeah, I'm stopping right there. So we was in the world, they would love us, but we're not of the world, so they hate us. We don't do the things the world will do. We're set apart. We're a special, holy, set apart generation. That's 1 Peter 2 and 9, Deuteronomy 7 and 6. We're different. And when we come into this truth, we should be laying aside the old woman. We should be laying aside things of the world. And when we do that, they hate us. They think something wrong with us. They think we're crazy. They think we bugged out. They think we're losing our marbles when we come into this truth and we keep these laws, statutes, commandments. But this is what they did to Yahawashi. And this is what they're going to do to us. Thank you. Thanks. This is what they did to Yahawashi. This is what they're going to do to us. And it's plain and simple. So, sorry, y'all. Told y'all I got a little cold. Okay. The servant is not greater than his Lord. We're not greater than Yahawashi. So if he went through it, what makes us think we're not going to go through it? And reading on, let's go to Matthew 10 and 21. Let's go to Matthew 10, 21. Through 25. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father, the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. Ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. So these are in red letters. Is Yahawashi talking. When they persecute you in this city, flee into another. For verily I say unto you, you shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. The disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more should they call them of his household? So then I'm going to skip down to verse 36. I'm going to 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I came to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foe shall be dead of his own household. So, it's plain upon tables. That's pretty self-explanatory. We're going to be hated for, this is in red letters again. I ain't capping. So we're going to be hated for Yahawashi's sake, and the most Yahawah, they didn't come for peace. Yahawashi came, he just told you, he came, but a sword. And so a variance means, let's get what the definition of variance means in the Strongs. Let's go to Matthew, what was that, 10, and let's go to, what was that, verse 35. Let's see what variance means. Variance in the Strongs, this is Strong's G1369, to cut into two parts. Okay, so let's see what another definition of Google. Variance means difference, conflicting, disagreeing, quarreling. So Yahawashi came to cut us into two parts, to separate, the ones in the truth and the ones in the world, to separate those trying to be righteous and those that's being wicked in the world. He came to put us apart. He came to set us at odds, because darkness don't mix with light, good don't mix with bad, evil don't mix with pure. It just don't mix. Holy don't mix with unholy. Those things don't mix. You don't see birds and wolves kicking it together. So you're going to bump heads with some people in the world. Unfortunately, you may, be arguing with family. Really, we shouldn't argue with them, because they don't really profit nothing. But, it's going to be disagreements, so just don't think those things. When an argument do pop off, because I'd be lying if I say I never got to argument with my family in the world. So just don't think those strange. Those things will happen. They might cuss you out. They call you crazy. They're going to say all types of things. So Yahawashi said, this is what he came to do. He came to set the mother against the daughter. Hey, so don't think it's strange. Don't think it's weird and, out of the blue, and, you're not getting along with people. You might have been real close with your cousin in the world, and then you came into the truth and y'all don't talk no more. Or you might have been real close with your mother, and now your relationship not really that tight. I've experienced all those things. So, just don't think those strange. And I want to go to Matthew 5:44, because though we will be hated, this is the thing though. You don't go below. You don't go below. You don't go below with them. Hey, when they go below, you rise above. Thus saith the Lord. It's Matthew 5:44. You have heard, again, red letters. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the just, and on the unjust. For if you love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same? And if you salute your brethren only, what do you more than others? Do not even the publicans do? So be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. So although you may be hated, well, you will be hated. Although people going to talk about you, they're going to say crazy things, you don't go below when they go below. When they talk about you and, when they say crazy things, you don't cuss them back out. You don't say crazy things. It says, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. So you got family members, they might hate you, they might curse you, they might use you. You pray for them, you love them, you just move in the spirit of love, because our people are not used to love. Because in the world, we didn't know what love was. We didn't know what real love. When you read 1 John, it tells you that love is of Yahawah. You can only love if you have the Most High. And the people in the world, they don't have the Most High because they don't keep the commandments. So Yahawah is not in them. That's thus saith the Lord. Read 1 John, the entire book. So if you don't have the Most High, you can't love anybody. So in the world, we didn't know what love was. So now when you come into this truth, you might got family members that hate you. When you kill them with kindness and you still move in the spirit of love, they're not used to that. They used to people bucking up back at them. They used to people cussing them back out. But when you kill them with kindness, you just pray for them, you love them, they be like, dang, like she real different. So move in the spirit of love, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them who respectfully use you. So when they go below, you rise above. And then I'm going to get Mark 10, and I'm almost done. Kind of, sort of, not really. We're going to get Mark chapter 10. in verse 46 through 52. And they came to Jericho, and as he went out of Jericho with his disciples and a great number of people, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the highway side begging. And when he had heard that it was Yahawashi of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, Yahawashi, the son of David, have mercy on me. And many charged him that he should hold his peace. But he cried the more a great deal, Thou son of David, have mercy on me. And Yahawashi stood still and commanded him to be called. And they called the blind man, said unto him, Be of good comfort, rise, he calleth thee. And he cast away his garment, rose, and came to Yahawashi. And Yahawashi answered and said unto him, What wilt thou that I should do unto thee? The blind man said unto him, Lord, that I might receive my sight. And Yahawashi said unto him, Go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole. And immediately he received his sight and followed Yahawashi the way. So I was watching a video from WFI, the brother, I forgot his name, but he brought this precept out, and I watched this like a year ago, and the way he broke it down was very beautiful. But basically, like, he was trying to get to Yahawashi, and he was calling upon the name of the Lord. He was like, Hey, Yahawashi, Yahawashi. He began to cry out, and people had him, trying to hold his peace. And so when you think about it, that's kind of how it is, and it's truth. We may be doing everything we can to try to please the Most High, and people going to try to get us to hold our peace. Why are you always talking about that Bible? Shut up. Just stop serving the Lord. They're going to try to get us, they're going to try to do everything they can to get us to stop serving the Lord, to stop calling upon the name of the Lord. And it's just Satan hopping them at the end of the day. But they're going to try to get us to hold our peace. They're going to get us to stop trying to talk about the Lord, stop trying to call upon the Lord, stop trying to serve them. That's what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, we can't please man. We can't switch up to be liked by them. And we can't trim our ways to seek love. So let's get Jeremiah chapter 2 and 33. Why trimmest thy way to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. So don't trim your ways to seek love. Don't switch up to seek love. Don't stop keeping the commandments to seek love. Don't switch up when people in the world come around. Like, usually you talk, you moving, you acting modest. Usually, you're not cussing. Usually you're not being loud. Usually you shamefaced. But then when people in the world come around, you girl, la 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 la, you running that mouth, you getting loud, you cussing, you don't switch up. Be yourself around anybody, around the heathen, around people in the world, around people in the truth. Be yourself unapologetically and authentically. Be yourself. Don't switch up. Don't trim how you move in this truth to be pleased by man and society, because that's going to get you in trouble with the Most High. And if you ashamed of Yahawashi, you deny the Father in front of people, hey, Yahawashi can deny you. So that's plain. That's thus saith the Lord. So, don't be trying to act all different when people come around. As soon as people in the world come around, you want to act all different. Girl, Lord ain't dealing with that. But this is Galatians 1 and 10. For do I now persuade men or Yahawah? Do I seek to please men? For if I yet please men, I should not be the servant of Yahawashi. So if you're trying to please men, you can't be a servant of the Most High. You got to pick and choose. Are you going to please the Lord, or are you going to please men? You going to serve the Lord, or you going to serve men? You can only have one master, Matthew 6:24 and 1 Corinthians 10:21. And you can't drink of the cup of the devils and the cup of Yahawashi. So you got to pick and choose what you're going to do. You can't sit at the table of the devil and then sit at the table of the Lord. You got to pick and choose who you're going to serve. You got to pick and choose who you're going to please. This ain't no 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of game, type of deal. It's Acts 5:29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey Yahawah rather than men. I think everybody should read the book of Acts, especially chapter 5. I think it's such a beautiful chapter. Such a beautiful chapter. They was trying to get Paul and them to stop preaching the words of the Lord. And they said, look, we're going to obey Yahawah rather than men. We don't care what y'all talk about. I think y'all should go read it because it is such a beautiful book. Such a beautiful chapter. Acts 5, they was trying to really get them to stop doing the works. But they did not stop. They was beat. They was put in prison. The Most High broke them out of prison. It was a lot going on in the book of Acts. It was just so beautiful. But, let me start at verse 28. Saying, did not we straightly command you that you should not teach in this name? And behold, you have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine and intend to bring this man's blood upon us. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey Yahawah rather than men. So that's we done told you to stop talking about Yahawashi. We done told you to stop preaching in this man's name. We done told you to stop talking about this Bible. And you still doing it. And he was like, we're going to obey the Most High rather than men. So people going to tell you to stop talking about the Lord. They're going to tell you to stop wearing that dress all the time. Satan going to hop on them because Satan He hops on everybody. He transforms to angel of light. Satan might hop on your grandmother, your niece. Satan hops on anybody, right? So people going to be trying to, nothing new is under the sun. These things, as we're reading about, it's going to happen again. Most High requires, he requires what is old. He requires the past, as Ecclesiastes say, roughly paraphrasing. He requires that which is of old. So none of these things are new. These things will happen again. We just got to kind of be prepared for them through the Spirit to the best of our ability. That's why Romans 15:4 tell us the scriptures for our learning. That's why we got to read these precepts, so we can see what was happening back then and how our forefathers handled it. So this is a good reminder. This is a really good account to read in just the book of Acts and Journal. It's just a good account to read, even the Gospels, to see how, in Maccabees especially, it's a good account to see how our forefathers, they were persecuted, and some of them were put to death. The Maccabees brothers, they was put to death. And it's just a good account to see how, John was beheaded. So it's just good to read about our forefathers, to see how they was killed, persecuted, beat on for the word and the name of Yahawashi, and they endured, and they didn't faint, and they didn't fold. And it's good to read that, to see that this is going to happen again, and we have to see how they moved. They didn't fold, and we can't fold either. So we have to obey Yahawah rather than men. So when people trying to get us to stop talking about that Bible, we have to continue to endure and keep talking about that Bible, because the kingdom is going to be ours, Lord willing, if we keep talking about that Bible. But if you fold, then I don't know. Actually, I do know. Scriptures tell you. Well, the most I have mercy on. So, well, yeah. So this is Jeremiah 30:7. Before we go there, before we switch gears. So now that we have touched on, we must understand we can't get the kingdom without tribulation. And now that we have touched on, if we really truly trying to serve the Most High, we got to go through what Yahawashi went through. Now we're going to switch gears. I'm going to briefly touch on Jacob's trouble, just a little briefly. So now we're going to switch gears. We have to be bold and count of joy, because it's going to get bad. It's going to get really bad. And these are things we're going to have to endure through. I'm going to briefly touch on it. And I got permission from my husband, so mind your business. So don't be coming for me. So we're going to switch gears. We should talk about this as women. We should know about these things. So just don't mind my nails. Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So, for sisters that don't know, we're going to come into a time called Jacob's trouble, and it's basically going to be when all hell break loose on the face of the earth, okay? So I'm going to just give y'all some books to read about it. Second Ezra's and the Apocrypha is the red book, but you don't see my red covering because my Apocrypha done been through it. It's a small little red book, and it's about $10 on Amazon. It was taken out of the Bible because it is so powerful. But this is a part of the Bible as well. Now you can go just buy a 1611 KJV, because the 1611 is the original. It has the KJV plus the Apocrypha in it. Also download the 1611 KJV app on your phone on the App Store. That has the Apocrypha in it as well. And if you go to the Holy Bible app on your phone, if you switch the translation to KJVAE, that has the Apocrypha in it as well. So Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16, 2nd Ezra 6, Jeremiah 37, Daniel 12:1, Revelation briefly touches on it, Matthew 24. So this just tells you about things that's going to be happening in the end days. So there's going to be no time like Jacob's trouble, like Jeremiah 30:7 just said, but he shall be saved out of it. Israel, Lord willing, we're going to be saved out of it. But what do we have to do to get saved out of it? This is Daniel 12:1, and it reads, Salakia. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. So those that's going to be delivered is those that's written in the book. And we know that the kingdom is only for Israel. You can read about that in Revelations. But there's going to be a time of trouble such as never was like it. So it's going to be a time that we've never seen. These movies, they try to get it. They try to show it. They try to, these end times movies, they try to show us what it's going to be like. But it's going to be worse than any movie we've ever seen. Like nobody has ever seen this, lived in it. It's going to be bad. And it's Isaiah, because Christians think it's going to be a rapture, and they think that they finish to get took up and escape everything, and then all hell going to break loose, but they're going to be already out of it. That's not what's happening. The rapture is not biblical. It's not anywhere in the Bible. Jacob's trouble is, though. We just read about it. It literally said Jacob's trouble in Jeremiah 37. Am I going crazy? Did it not just say that? Let's go back. Jeremiah 30:7. Jacob's trouble. Yeah, that is biblical. Jacob's trouble is biblical. But the rapture, there's not nowhere in the Bible. Not nowhere. So come on. That's not what's happening. There's not gonna be a big rapture, and then people gonna be saved, and then all hell gonna be. That's not what's happening. We're gonna have to go through Jacob's trouble. Everybody. We're gonna have to go through it. Those that's here. So Isaiah 45:7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So people might be like, God doesn't do evil. He doesn't do Jacob's trouble. He creates good. He creates light. He creates evil. Hey, he does it all. He is Yahawashi. So, I mean, Revelation 9:6. And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. So it's going to be so bad that people are going to try to kill themselves. They're going to desire to seek death. And in those days, men shall seek death and shall desire to die. They're going to want to die. What does desire mean? Let's get it. Desire means a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen, a wish, a want for, to long for. People are going to want to die. They're going to wish they was dead. It's going to be that bad. So the times are coming in. It's going to be terrible. Terrible. Like I said, sisters, I'm not going to do no whole breakdown of Jacob's trouble. I already gave y'all books to read. Lord willing, y'all wrote them down. But 2 Ezra 15 and 14 through 19. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. So people are going to be desiring to go somewhere else. They're going to be desiring to go to New York, wherever they at. They're going to be wanting to go to another city, but Jacob's trouble going to be everywhere. They ain't even going to be able to leave. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So there's going to be famine. People are going to have pity upon their neighbor. They're going to be killing their neighbor. They're going to be stealing the neighbor food. It's going to get bad, y'all. And then 2 Ezra 6 and 22. 2 Ezra 6 and 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So it's going to be a famine. The places that are full of food right now, empty. Walmart, empty. Everything will be empty. So I was about to briefly touch on it. Brothers got deep, beautiful, mighty breakdowns of Jacob's trouble. I just personally wasn't trying to get into a deep breakdown of Jacob's trouble. So go watch those videos of brothers bringing it out, going into those deep breakdowns and breaking down the seals and breaking down the trumpets and all that. So yeah, it's gonna get bad in those times. People gonna be eating one another. Let's get that real quick. Eat the flesh. Jeremiah 19 and 9. And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend and the sage and straightness, or with their enemies, and they that seek their lives shall straighten them. So, I mean, people gonna be eating each other. Like, if you ask somebody right now, would you eat somebody? They'll be like, no, I wouldn't do that. And that day, it's gonna be so bad. People gonna be so hungry, gonna be eating one another. And some people gonna be starving to death. Like, let me get that real quick. It's in 2 Ezra 15 and 7. Thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword. Thy city shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field. Well, this is what I wanted, 2 Ezra 16 and 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So some people going to die of hunger. They're going to starve to death. And some people going to die by the sword. So it's like people going to be so hungry, they're going to be eating each other. It's going to get real bad in those days. But we can be delivered from these persecutions and things to come as long as we fear the Most High. So in the world, we didn't know what true love was. And we know that true love is loving Yahawah by keeping the commandments. So let's get John 14 and 15. And it reads, if you love me, keep my commandments. So if you love the Most High, Yahawah, keep his commandments. It's plain upon tables. The law's not done away with. We're not going to get into deep breakdown on that. The law's not done away with. Plenty beautiful breakdowns right here on it. It ain't done away with, okay? Nowhere in the Bible does it say it's done away with. Okay? We had to keep these commandments. This in red letters. Again, red letters. If you love me, keep my commandments. So, yeah. Let's get to 2 Timothy 4:18. This is the one I was going to get earlier, but I said we was going to hold off on the flip side. So now we're going to the flip side. So remember when I put out 1 Timothy, remember when I put out 2 Timothy 3 and 12 saying that we shall suffer persecution, but 2 Timothy 4 and 18 say, and the Lord shall deliver me from every evil work and will preserve me unto his heavenly kingdom, to whom be glory forever and ever. Amen. So although we're going to go through hell and back for this kingdom, and the Lord will deliver the righteous Most High willing. So we have to continue to endure. And the Most High, he gonna look out for us in that day. Isaiah 65 and 13 say, your servant shall hunger, your servant shall hunger, my servant's gonna eat, and your servant's gonna be sad, my servant's gonna rejoice. So we already know, like, that's why I'm recommending this, to read these different books, because we know that, Lord willing, in that day, we're gonna be taken care of. 2 Ezra 2 and like 27 on down. Let me just get it real quick. 2 Ezra 2 and 27 on down. We know that in that day, Lord, we're going to be taken care of. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble in heaven is cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. As the scriptures say, the Most High, he can make our enemies. The scriptures say, if a man's ways please the Lord, he shall make his enemies even at peace with him, or roughly paraphrasing. There's also another precept that say, the enemy's going to entreat us well. Let me get it. So it's like, this is Jeremiah 15:11. The Lord said, verily it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. So when all hell is breaking loose, and when the evil time, affliction time, Yahawah Bahasham said, and he gonna make the enemy entreat us well. So you never know how, how Esau, they got these bunker houses, they got tree houses, literally, forest houses, all these things. You may be in direct trouble, all hell breaking loose, but hey, and we know that Yahawashi, he fed Elijah with ravens. He fed Elijah with an angel as well. 1 Kings chapter 17, 1 Kings chapter 19. So Yahawah, he can have animals feeding us. And like my head said, it could be like a wild beast come and drop food off. Like, these things sound crazy, but the Lord can do these things for real. You just got to get into it. You got to read these things, because it gets deep. It gets real deep. It gets real deep. But Lord willing, we're going to be protected in that day if we're keeping these laws and commandments and pleasing the Most High. How about Shemashai? Now I'm going to get Proverbs 19 and 13. And it reads 23, Salakia. The fear of the Lord tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. So those that fear the Most High and love him and keeping his commandments will not be visited with evil. But let's see what's going to happen to those that are not keeping the commandments, because, people think this is a game. And this is out of the words of the Lord. So we want to make sure that we're doing things as well pleasing unto the Most High, so Lord, we can be protected in that day. If you're not, then let's see what he said. Not my mouth, but out of the words of the Lord. Amos 9 and 10. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. So you got people that's not keeping the commandments, that's been evil, that's been wicked, that's saying, ain't nothing bad gonna happen to us. All my people shall die by, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. And you might have, sisters think, well, we're all sinners. Well, no. No, you got those that's trying to keep. Of course, we all fall, we all go off, but we're not all sinners. You have people that's striving to keep these commandments, you have people striving to keep these laws, such commandments, and that fall. And you got people that are sinners that literally do wrong, they do evil, they do not keep the commandments, they do not care about the commandments. That is what that's talking about. If you read 1 John, let's just get it real quick. This is 1 John chapter 3 and 8. He that committeth sin is of the devil. For the devil sinned from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of Yahawah was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Whosoever is born of Yahawah doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him. He cannot sin because he is born of Yahawah. And this the children of Yahawah are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doth not righteousness is not of Yahawah, neither he that loveth not his brother. So that's not talking about people that's strive to keep these commandments and they fall. If you are out here wickedly, if you're out here sinning willfully, you're breaking the commandments, you just do not care, you just are in this world being wicked, that is what they're talking about. If you're commit sin, you're of the devil. But then you have brothers and sisters that strive to keep these laws, such commandments, the Lord is going to be protecting that day. So all sinners of the Most High's people will die by the sword. There's just plant upon tables. Oh, freak. So, yeah, we are not all sinners. It hurt. This 2 Ezra 15 and 24 through 27. And it reads, woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments. So sinners are those that don't keep the commandments. That is what a sinner is, that do not keep the commandments. Sinners are not people that strive to keep the commandments and then they fall, but they get back up. And sinners, those that do not keep the commandments. So those that are sinning, out here breaking these commandments, not keeping the feast days, not keeping the Sabbath, twerking on the rooftop of the cars, wearing their breast all out, eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. Hey, woe to them, destruction. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power, defile not my sanctuary. For the Lord knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For Yahawah shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. And that's out of the Bible. Woe unto them that sin. So if you want to be protected in that day, you need to repent. You so-called Black, Latino, Native American, Indian, Seminole Indians. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but you so-called Native Indians, you so-called Latinos, Mexican sisters, so-called Black women, repent. Because if you're trying to get delivered out of these times coming, you gotta be on the winning team. You gotta be on the right side. You gotta be keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments of Bahasham and Bahasham like Yahawashi. And let me get one last precept and I'm gonna close it out. If you're trying to be delivered from these persecutions, and of course, we're gonna all have to go through these things of being hated of our men, and we're going to have to go through all these things. But if you want to be delivered out of it, saved out of it, got to repent. Zechariah 13:8, and it shall come to pass that in all the lands, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off, but the third shall be left therein. Also like it. 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. I'm going to read again. And it shall come to pass that in all the lands, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. So 2 parts of Israel is going to be cut off and die, but the third is going to remain. So we want to be on that third side. We want to be on that 1/3, not 2/3. I'm not going to be on here saying I'm already in the 1/3, because that'll be real powerful. We can't be we can't automatically call ourselves the 1/3, because that's real powerful. We don't know if we're going to get the kingdom. We truly don't. Our spot is not secure yet. None of us got a golden ticket. None of us have been told you already got the kingdom. That he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. So, Lord willing, we be on the 1/3. Lord willing, we be delivered. We got to continue to endure, because the Most High can put a spirit on any of us, but we got to have faith and pray and have faith that he will keep us in his ways. Have faith and pray that he will keep us in sincerity. Have faith and pray that he will keep us with a sound mind. Have faith and pray that he'll allow us to endure to the end. That's where faith comes in. That's why we got to have faith. So, shut up and sit down. So we got to have faith that Lord willing we endure. Have faith that Lord willing we get the kingdom. Have faith that Lord willing the Most High keeps us in his ways. So, with that, I want to say, call Bahasham, Shabbat Shalawam. Lord willing, y'all are having a beautiful Sabbath. By the time I post this, Sabbath might be already over. So, Lord willing, you had a beautiful Sabbath. I love y'all so much. And, keep enduring. We got to, so just sum it up. Don't think it's strange when people talking about you and they're hating you. and they got something crazy and they might want to fight you. Don't think those things strange, because if you want the kingdom, you got to be at the same baptism that Yahawashi was baptized with. You got to go through those same afflictions. You know, it's going to get bad out here in Jacob's trouble. Don't try to switch up to please man. Continue to endure. Don't be a man pleaser. Be a pleaser of Bahasham. Do the things that's pleasing unto him. It's going to get bad out here, but if we want to be delivered from these things, these persecutions, we want to be delivered. When I say delivered from persecutions, I'm not saying we're not going to go through persecutions, because we're going to be hated by men. We're going to go through those things. What I'm saying is be delivered from, like Jacob showed, be delivered from people. Just being delivered from this world, being delivered from persecutions and stuff like that. We got to repent and keep these laws, statutes, commandments, and continue to do as well, pleasing unto the Most High Yahawah. So Lord willing, y'all have a beautiful rest of y'all week, a beautiful rest of y'all day, whatever time you watch this. I love y'all. Continue to strive to endure. I feel like this video is all kind of all over the place, but then again, I feel like it wasn't. So I love y'all. Shalawam.
Woke up this morning and